In a situation where you are sure that your partner is having an affair, that it is something serious, and your partner is quite withdrawn, this indicates that there is indeed something disturbing going on there. In such situations, these steps need to be much more drastic. On the other hand, it is always worth considering first, what happened in the first place that led to this affair? What is the real reason for this situation? Have you neglected your relationship before, and that is why the affair occurred? Have you been estranged for a long time because of this, and there has been a lot of hostility between you for a long time? Was your relationship basically already in that hollow phase, and then things really broke down between you? Because if things were good between you, and despite everything your partner entered into some new relationship, then it is worth considering whether it is really worth fighting for such a relationship, because perhaps your partner belongs to that group of few people who are simply prone to betrayal, and it will not be worth saving such a relationship at all, but it will be better to let go. On the other hand, if you feel that your relationship fell apart because you didn't put too much energy into it, let's say you were very busy with your work, your partner was so much more beside you, and you were sure that he would always be by your side, and here it suddenly turns out that this is not the case at all, because some third person appeared, and you are about to lose this relationship altogether. So if you see that you have made a lot of mistakes on your side in the future and there is a lot of room for improvement, it gives you some hope that the moment you eliminate these mistakes and still act enough to end this crisis that is currently taking place and get rid of this third person, there will be a good chance that after this crisis is over, your partner will be faithful to you again. On the other hand, I stress again that learning from this situation is really absolutely key. It's worth considering what went wrong so far. Why my relationship looks so poor at the moment. What was the communication between you, conflict resolution, that friendly bond between you and the balance of commitment? Did you care enough or not enough? In that case, what can you do to make your partner end their affair and get back to you as soon as possible? Here, a very important point is that this affair is not yet totally super serious enough, since your partner has not yet broken up with you. You have a huge window of opportunity to take advantage of this fact and break up with your partner, but in a proper and thoughtful way. I know that this may seem very controversial at first glance, but in practice, it is very effective. More often than not, such a sudden move will save your relationship and, in the worst case, increase your chances of a comeback. However, let's start with what is definitely not worth doing and what a very large number of people do, which is to give an ultimatum. When someone finds out that our partner is having an affair, but doesn't want to end the relationship, he or she gives an ultimatum along the lines of, "You have to break off this acquaintance once and for all, because if you don't, I'll break up with you." Yes, sometimes ultimatums can be effective, but in most cases they are not. It can happen when someone has such a very strong social pressure. For example, that my family will find out that I am cheating on my husband or wife, and everyone around will find out because my partner will break up with me. Just in this case, such a logical sphere can work more than an emotional one, because giving an ultimatum in practice pushes your partner away from you. With such behavior, you show an approach like, "Look, I forgive you, you cheated on me. It happens. Be with me nonetheless. I am here at your fingertips. Please choose me." By this behavior, you show that you are available all the time, that is, you are no challenge. Your partner may say something like, "Okay, no problem. I'm ending this affair and I'm with you again." You're together again and you think everything is fine now. There is no being a challenge to your partner here. So unfortunately, something like this emotionally, your partner is unlikely to follow. Often the ultimatum also ends with your partner seemingly ending that acquaintance. He tells you, "Okay, I'm ending that acquaintance," while in practice he thinks to himself, "I need to watch myself better." She decides to hide better, because an ultimatum won't make her partner stop thinking about that person, that feelings for that third person will magically evaporate. Unfortunately, you can't fall out of love with anyone on cue. You need to influence your partner emotionally, showing that you are a much bigger challenge, that he is at a certain point in his life where he may lose you forever. Therefore, if you feel that there is something on your mind, never, under any circumstances, give your partner an ultimatum. It's really ineffective, you'll lose time, push your partner away from you even more, and push him towards that stranger, instead of doing something that will immediately give you a much better chance of making it all work. That something is to skillfully break up with your partner. How exactly do you accomplish this? You need to act step by step. The moment a partner has an affair and there is a breakup, then it often happens that the partner automatically ends the affair and runs after his earlier partner, his husband or wife, to save the relationship after all. It is often the case that there was a great deal of mistakes made, jealousy, ultimatums given, and nothing worked. And only when the partner said, "I've had enough, I'm breaking up with you," then the affair was over and there was a return. Of course, when someone conducts this breakup badly, that is, makes all possible mistakes and breaks up at the end, it probably won't work. On the other hand, if you do it right, don't make all these mistakes and prepare your partner for it properly, the probability of success is definitely higher. Let's first take a look at what is going on in your partner's mind at the moment you break up with him. When your partner is involved in some new relationship, some feelings for the new person begin to emerge. This does not mean that the love for you has completely evaporated in him. Love is the chemistry in our brain. These are the neuronal connections that have been solidified over the years between you and your partner, so they are there somewhere, even if they are a little weakened at any given time. They're currently covered up by other feelings, but they're still there, and the moment you activate them, your feelings will go up, and automatically your feelings for this new person will go down, because it's impossible to love two people at once. There is nothing more powerful than creating a sense of loss in your partner. Don't confuse this with behavior such that, "I'm breaking up with you, and if you end the affair, then come to me." It's about a different approach. It's about showing your partner that, "I'm breaking up because you're having an affair. I don't like it, but I don't judge you and I forgive you for it. I understand that things were bad in your relationship, so you have a right to it." With this attitude, you show that there is no hostility there on your side. So you push back without hostility, without brawling, without some unpleasantness, and without building a wall between you. You show your partner that he is at a certain point in his life where if he does nothing, he will lose you forever. Up to now, your partner was sure of you. He knew that you were always there somewhere, that you would make an effort for him. He knew that whenever things didn't work out in this new relationship that was just starting, he could always come back to you. Whereas now he's losing ground, he's losing stability, and so emotionally you are very much attracted to him. So that's the principle on which this breakup mechanism works. You can do a lot for yourself to make it as likely as possible that this whole strategy will work. It's very important that you prepare your partner a little for this breakup, which doesn't mean that you give him signals that you're going to break up with him, just the opposite. The most important thing is to repair the relationship as much as possible. Even if your partner's affair with a third party is very serious and you can see that something is up, give yourself at least a week before you break up with him in order to stabilize this situation between you, so that you don't make any mistakes there, don't show any jealousy, withdraw very strongly, and fix this balance of commitment. Show that you are on the one hand positive, smiling, doing your own thing, living your life, not imposing, not resentful, not checking, just being so ordinary and normal. With such behavior, you put your partner's vigilance to sleep a little. If you can even talk to him a little more, as long as you don't break the balance of commitment with this, so that it is quite pleasant, amiable between you, so that there are certainly no brawls and no hostility. You really need to soften the situation. It is worth giving yourself at least a week to do this. Sometimes, if it is already the case that there is no hostility, you have not made these mistakes, then you will not have to wait additionally, but will be able to go into action right away. On the other hand, if these mistakes have appeared before, you feel that something is up, well, this time will be important. Admittedly, you run the risk that your partner will break up with you earlier, but the chances that it will happen this very week are very slim, because often these romances, however, develop for months, and yet your partner does not break up with you. On the other hand, if you feel that it could happen at any moment, then you can cut it short. Nonetheless, it is better to postpone such tough conversations if your partner clearly wants to talk to you very seriously, and you see that this could be a conversation in which he may break up with you, then postpone it to another time. "Sorry, but I have a lot on my mind today. Let's talk tomorrow or the day after." And at that time, you break up with your partner. Be the first to tell him or her this in the way I will describe to you in a moment. On the other hand, if you see that this threat of breakup is not so sudden and so serious, well, give yourself this week. On the other hand, clearly such a buffer is something far better, where you step back, take care to fix that balance of commitment, don't make mistakes, maybe even start to get along a little better with your partner, and only then do you break up. Because when things are a little better between you, this hostility is gone and there is not such a lively resentment on the part of your partner towards you. The sense of loss will be much more acute, and there will be a much better effect. How to bring about a breakup? First of all, by inviting your partner to talk, and that you both have a lot of time for each other, necessarily face to face. It can't be a send message or a phone call. It has to be face to face, because this will evoke the greatest emotions, even though it will be difficult for you to do this. However, this emotional impact is really important. So it has to be a face-to-face conversation. And when you do see each other, tell your partner directly that you are breaking up with him, that you are ending this acquaintance due to the fact that someone else has come along, or that you feel that there is someone out there. Now, it is very important not to get into a discussion, an argument, so that your partner does not try to prove to you that there is no one. Of course, we assume that you are so sure that this affair is there. No difference if it is something more or less serious. If clearly someone is meddling in your relationship, don't let your partner suddenly convince you that nothing is going on. Don't debate any arguments with him. Don't make him prove anything. Simply say, I understand that you have your own opinion about this. I don't want to prove anything to you. I just feel that something is going on, that something is happening in your life, that you have met someone. You are not able to convince me otherwise, and at the same time I am not able to accept it either. That's why we have to part ways. With this, you give a clear reason that we are parting, because you started some affair or flirtation with some other person. So this is a clear reason that your partner can do something about later. He can start proving, I have already ended the affair. I have broken up with this person. I'll show you messages like this person is writing me to go back to her, and I don't want to go back anymore. So he may try to prove it to you, say in this way. This is something he can come to you with when he wants to come back to you. One specific reason. On the other hand, in addition to giving this reason, it's very important that you soften any hostility between you, that you show that now you are not offended at this person, that you forgive your partner for the betrayal and you just part ways. It's really mega important to get that hostility out there. Therefore, say something along the lines of, listen, I understand that the heart is not a servant. It happened what happened, I don't resent you. I know that things have been much worse between us lately. I see my mistakes I made in this relationship. This is a good time to show your change, to show that you see what you were doing wrong. You show that you see those logical obstacles that you didn't see before. For example, you say, you told me so many times to change jobs. Indeed, now I see it. I should have done it earlier. I'm going to do it now anyway, so that I'll be better off in my future relationship and so that no one will complain about it either. I've been thinking a lot about all this, and I apologize to you that I'm only doing this now, only after we parted ways, but this is such a turning point in my life as well, so I really got a powerful emotional kick. I'm taking myself and turning everything upside down. Generally, you talk about all those obstacles that your partner told you beforehand that you can handle, that you don't resent your partner for splitting up, and basically sooner or later this is how it had to happen. A very important part of all this is that you be absolutely sure of what you are saying. It can't be that you are wondering whether to break up or not, because it won't work. You have to be certain and very specific. The decision must be final. Your partner must really feel that he is losing you. If he feels that he can lose you, but you are not completely convinced of it yourself, the effect may not be there at all. So don't play half measures, but go straight to the point. Show that you have already made up your mind and that there is no going back. Even if your partner convinces you on the subject, you can say something along the lines of, for this moment, my decision will not change and we must part. I need some time for myself, but who knows what will happen in a while. If you make a life for yourself with that new person, that's great. I really wish you to be happy. We both need to move forward. If neither I nor you arrange a life with anyone else and in 6 months we meet, nothing will happen in our lives. Well, maybe. Who knows? But remember that I absolutely do not want to give you any hopes. I don't want to promise you anything. I'm not burning all the bridges because I was fine with you. But first I myself have to deal with the situation. I have to work on myself, and this is my final decision at this point. So that kind of message is really very attractive, and it will arouse that element of just that sense of loss that has to come over your partner for it to really work. Once you've said what you have to say, Be prepared to wait for an appropriate reaction. At first, your partner will be stunned before these breakup emotions reach him and actually affect his real behavior and desire to get back with you. It may take anywhere from a few days to as long as 2 weeks. If nothing happens after that time, it is most likely that the relationship was already so damaged that you actually had to break up. In addition, if this strategy doesn't do anything, I'm sure that no other action would do anything either. Whatever your partner's automatic reaction to this breakup, don't worry about any outcome. The first few hours are practically no indication of anything. You may encounter this reaction from your partner. It's good that you think so. I'm glad you're approaching this calmly. I was also thinking about a breakup. Also, it worked out well. I have indeed met someone. That is, at first glance, it looks like nothing worked. But on the second day, when your partner, after a sleepless night, feels that he is losing you, because constant thoughts kept him awake, that's when these emotions work. It's moments like this, where your partner has time to think, that causes all this loss effect. Your partner feels all these emotions about your loss, and it's this feeling of loss that makes him care much more about you. This feeling distances your partner from this new person who has suddenly appeared in your life. All of this suddenly accumulates and can make your partner start to care about you with some delay. It's often the case that even if your partner doesn't have such an immediate intention to save this relationship, but by suddenly thinking a lot about you, and wondering if he or she is doing the right thing by parting with you, it will automatically distance him or her from this third person. Just by making your partner start to be distant from this new person, it will make this new person show a lot of jealousy, make a lot of mistakes, push your partner away from her, and push him in your direction. With such actions, you will create the right environment for your partner to think a lot more about all this and emotionally attract him to you with this, while pulling her away from that other person. You can gain a very big advantage over that third person with such a strategy. Don't set yourself up for an immediate result. Be prepared for all possible reactions, from sadness, crying, and shedding tears, to a super positive reaction, and even to total hostility or acceptance. Anything can happen. These are such intense emotions that it is impossible to clearly predict. The most important thing is that you should be sure of this decision, that you put your partner to the test and give him no choice. If you do it too softly, there may not be such a shock and thus positive results. It is also worth adding to the whole situation that, in principle, you do not have to cut off contact so completely, and you can be friends. Don't worry that you'll fall into the frame of a friend, because it doesn't work that way. Because either you'll get back together, or you'll cut off contact, or it will be purely sporadic contact to take care of things you have in common, such as children, a shared business, or a shared house. Don't worry about falling into the so-called friend zone. A friend zone is a situation where two people are often in the same environment, treating each other like colleagues because they have to, because they work together and can't get away from each other completely, with one party in love and the other not. And this is a typical friend zone, where nothing special ever happened between them, no rapprochement and no deeper feelings. On the other hand, if you two were together, felt something for each other, and there was some emotion there, it will never be a friend zone. Precisely because of this, it is also easy for your feelings to awaken again and bring you together again, in fact. That's why it's much better to open that gate for yourself and show that you don't mind still having some contact, or that you are friends now. Because if you say, no, we're definitely not going to be friends, and then you keep some contact and you yourself get back in touch with your partner in a while, your partner might then think that you want to come back. On the other hand, if you show that as much as possible you can be friends and you don't have any problem with it, but we definitely won't be together anymore, then you open a gate for yourself, and in case of some contact, your partner knows that it can be such a casual contact because you are curious about what's going on with him, but it doesn't exactly mean that you immediately want to get back to him. Still, another totally important element that you absolutely must remember is that after such a breakup, you can't let yourself be quickly conquered. You can't unveil yourself even if your partner immediately reacts well, starts showing you a great deal of interest and proves to you that he is breaking the acquaintance of that person. If you do it too early, then unfortunately these emotions will not work hard enough on your partner to make this effect last. You have to remember that there is still some danger there. Admittedly, you have acted very strongly emotionally and shown your partner that he can lose you at any moment. But if you let yourself be gained again too soon, you will lose that advantage. Those emotions will drop again, and that third person will still be around somewhere and will be able to take advantage of it. Your partner may then very quickly regret that he got into this state again, where he again feels some feelings for this third person and is unsure of his decisions. Therefore, the absolute minimum after your breakup, before you get back together again, is a week. It is often better to wait much longer. You can renew this contact with your partner a little, but still lead him by the nose and show that you are not sure of your decision. Show that for the time being you are watching everything, because you don't believe that he broke off that acquaintance so quickly. This will keep you challenging him all the time, and not give him that confidence that you want to get back together. It is a very big mistake to let your partner convince you to get back to him quickly though, especially during the breakup itself. It may be fine for a day, but in 2 days it will already be back to the previous situation again. If you let yourself get back together quickly, it will just be fine for a short time, and immediately there will be a return to what it was before. On the other hand, what will work in your favor very strongly is keeping your partner in this uncertainty and in this sense of loss for a long time. This is a powerful emotional stimulus for your partner. Often, your partner will sit alone, look through your photos, listen to a song that you associate with you. Remember your moments together. Feel that grief in his heart, and begin to really deeply appreciate that you were together. The longer this goes on, the more feelings will build up in your partner's mind. You'll be much more appreciated, you'll be of much greater value, and you'll push your competition back somewhere in that regard. Returning to your partner after a breakup should be gradual. You should give at least a week of this powerful uncertainty about whether you will be together and whether you will let your partner come back to you. If your partner panics very quickly and starts calling you and demanding that the two of you get back together, then say, "I appreciate it, but this is such a time to calm down. I'll get back to you soon, but I need at least these few days to myself." After a week or so, you can actually speak up, or wait until your partner speaks to you again on his or her own. You at no time after such a breakup can start chasing again, because then you will nullify the whole plan. At most, you can give some kind of signal. You may not write back messages at all or write back once a day, well, unless you get dozens of messages. Then you consistently say, "Listen, this is really a difficult situation for me. I need to be alone with it for a while and see how I feel about it. For now, I don't want to talk about it. Please give me these few days. In a few days, I promise that we can meet and talk in a collegial way. But remember, don't get your hopes up because we are no longer together." Only after these few days can you actually meet with your partner to talk, arrange to go to some restaurant or go out somewhere for a walk. It would be best to meet on some neutral ground. Because if you have been living together, the breakup must involve your moving out, however temporary and even if only fake. Your partner must see that you have rented a room somewhere, are sleeping at a friend's place, at your parents' place, that you are nevertheless not physically in your apartment. It's also very important that your partner doesn't see you, that you may be suffering too, and that it's emotionally difficult for you too. On the other hand, when you finally get together with your partner, there will be some hope for your partner to influence you. Of course, he cannot know that you have already decided that you want to return to him. You need to approach this calmly. You met, it was nice, but now you are again waiting for another initiative from your partner. It's best to meet every third day, because then there will be those days where your partner can still spend the evening alone and feel uncertain about what's going on with you. Of course, I realize that since you are the one who broke up, this third person and your partner can develop a relationship together. The problem is that the partner doesn't want that, because emotionally, he can't think of anything but you. And even if he actually gets together with that third person, who was a threat all along, it will only show his lack of interest in that person and destroy that relationship all the more. I know that there may be a lot of fear and doubt associated with this method, while if it doesn't work, nothing else is likely to work either. See that you in such a situation also have a free hand. You could also go off and meet anyone, but you don't want to, because you can't think of anything else. Because your emotions tell you that your main goal is to get your partner, to fix this situation, to get out of this crisis, not to date and look for someone else. And even if you were to meet by force to relieve your suffering and meet someone new, and to prove to yourself that you can get into a new relationship, it will be very difficult for you to commit to any relationship, because these meetings will bore you. So you may have a lot of fears and doubts, but in practice, it's more your imagination that tells you than there are any dangers in reality. Watch yourself to let your partner get back together gradually, and that it's never such a one-off spurt, where you suddenly say, "Okay, well, here we are together again." It can't be like that. Getting back together should look as if you started getting to know each other again from scratch, as if it was the first date, then the second, the next, and after a month or two you act again as if you were a couple. And that's how it should be. And if your partner starts pushing for it too soon, keep saying, "I don't know." This is the key word. That is, if it's already good between the two of you and you can see that you need to let your partner get closer to you, but to give him that uncertainty and not let him get back together too quickly, especially if that third person is a threat, then you can say something like this. "You know what? I don't know how I feel about you yet. I don't know if I want to be with you. We'll see. Let's meet and see what comes out of it. For now, I can't promise you anything. If that's not enough for you, then walk away from me. I understand that. Well, I'm the one who broke up with you, so you can leave at any time. We don't have to continue to meet, but if you still want to do something about it, I don't see any other way for the time being but to meet and see if those feelings I once had for you can come back again." This approach is the most effective and the most attractive. It will attract your partner to you. It will make you constantly feel challenged, that he does not feel sure of you. This uncertainty will raise those emotions in him to the max. He may fall in love with you again, and then the threat of that third person will go completely aside. The truth is that if a breakup doesn't work, it means that nothing else would work. If stirring up emotions so strongly doesn't help save the relationship, then no other actions will help, much less waiting until it works itself out. And besides, even if it doesn't work immediately and you actually break up, you still end the relationship from a very attractive position. Not from the position of someone who waits until eventually someone breaks up with him, but someone who takes fate into his own hands and ends this acquaintance attractively. And even if you don't succeed in fixing it right away, if your partner doesn't work out that relationship either, and you don't get to know anyone in the meantime, you will have a much better chance that your partner, the moment he ends that relationship, will start hearing from you and will start trying for you himself. Then you will be able to make some kind of decision. So even if it doesn't work immediately, it's still the best thing you can do for yourself in such a situation to fix what's broken and give yourself the best chance of getting the most out of it. I invite you to the next section. If you liked the material, leave a like and send it to a friend or someone close to you who may benefit from this knowledge. If you want to support our work and help us create more valuable videos, there is a link in the description.